Hey guys, my name is Brenda, and I am going to walk you through how to track your food. And when I say track your food, it is something that you do ahead of time instead of after the fact. So it is being proactive versus reactive. And what I'm going to do is walk you through how to find your macros first and then how to use those. So you'll open up the pinned post and you can read through it, la, 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 read, lots of reading, good stuff, good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. And once you get down to page 15, you will decide if you are a woman or a man, and you will look up your height. And for me, I am a 5'6" woman, so right here is mine. And I see that I am 120 grams of protein, 76 grams of fat, 20 grams of carbs, and 1,244 calories for the day. All right. I also want to show you something else. I'll wait and I'll show you that later. So 120, 76, 20. Those are the macros I'm going to use. Okay, so I have Chronometer set up. One thing that I did is I bought the gold for a couple different reasons. I wanted to be able to split into breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's not a requirement, but for $34 a year, I figured I could invest that in my health. And it's less than $3 a month. And I spent that on coffee, so no big deal. Or junk food. I used to buy a lot of junk food pre-diet. So you can see in here, I've got my macros. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, sorry, I'm more familiar with doing the app on the phone. So I'm a little awkward on the computer. I'm going to put in some protein first, and I do protein for each meal. I'm going to do chicken breast, boneless, raw. And here you can see it's a USDA source, chicken, broiler, fryer, breast, skinless, boneless, meat only, raw. That's what I'm going to choose. And I'm just going to put in 200 grams because I can adjust everything. And then it jumps me to 45 grams of protein. So that's cool. Yes. Okay, then I'm going to go to lunch and I'm going to put some stuff in for lunch. Let's add a couple eggs. Raw egg, USDA, or NCCDB. I'm not sure what that even stands for. It's a good database to have as well. If there's a USDA, I typically choose that. Now I want to say something about eggs. If you are buying them locally, or you raise your own chickens and as a result, have your own eggs, you want to weigh the eggs, and you would pull down the grams and weigh it. I'm going to buy some from the store, and typically I should weigh it as well because there is some variance. But just for planning purposes, I'm going to say 2 large eggs. Now that only gets me 12.5 grams of protein for that meal, and I need at least 30, but remember, I have to get 120 grams of protein for the day. So I want about 40 grams of protein per meal. I have to have at least 30, but I want about 40. So I'm going to add in some egg whites. Now I buy a brand called Southwestern Egg Beaters. Right here. And I'm just going to put in 100 grams. We'll see where that gets us. So that jumps us up to 67 grams of protein for the day, 22 grams for that meal. So I'm still a little short. I'm going to add in something I always keep on hand is I buy bacon crumbles from Sam's Club. Right here, Members Mark, real crumbled bacon. I know Costco's Kirkland brand also has some. Don't get the fake bacon, the artificial bacon crumbles. But I like these because it kind of controls the fat amount pretty easily. It's nice to work with. I'm going to say 50 grams of that. So I put in some protein. That gets me 36 grams for that meal. That's pretty close. We can adjust some numbers in just a little bit. For dinner, I'm going to add in, I have top sirloin, so I'm going to add in some of that. Now you'll see that there's several options. I'm going to trim the extra fat, But I'm going to be honest with myself. There's very little chance I'll get down to 0 inches of fat, especially when you consider that there's usually fat throughout the steak. So I'm going to say about 1/8 of an inch of fat, and it's going to be raw. That's how I'm going to determine it. I'm going to say 200 grams. So I'm just throwing numbers in here right now. Plain macro Tetris. Look, I hit my protein for the day. About halfway there on fat, and I've got room to work with carbs. So the next thing I typically do is I go back and I put in my fats that I'm going to cook with. And so I'm going to have a vegetable with breakfast, but I'm going to add fat for cooking. Now, I'm typically dairy-free most of the time. So I use ghee, which is butter that has had the milk proteins removed. Let's say 10 grams. Let's see, so that gives us 48 grams of fat. Let's add in some avocado there as well. That'll get me some more fat. Avocado, raw, all commercial varieties, USDA. Let's put in 150 grams. Now weigh your avocado. Scoop it out of the skin, take the seed out, and weigh it. We'll see what this does. That jumped us way up on fat, but we've still got room, so that's okay. Gives a little bit more carbs. We'll see how things go. All right. Let's add in, with dinner, I'm going to grill my steak, so I'm probably not going to add fat there. With lunch, I'm going to add in some oil for cooking because I'm going to make an omelet. Let's say some coconut oil. And I'm just going to put a number in there. Let's say 10 grams. All right, that made me go over my fat, so I don't want to do that. So let's back off. 150 grams of avocado is quite a bit. So let's go back. How do I do this on the computer? Right there. 100 grams. All right, so that took me under my fat again, so that's good. Still over my protein, which is fine. I can be a little over. Pretty close on my fat. So if I need to adjust, I can kick back on one of those numbers. We'll see how things go. Okay. So fats and proteins are pretty good. Now I'm going to go back in and accent with some carbs. Now, if you find yourself hungry, you want to definitely make sure you make use of your carbs. You don't want to go clear over or way over or anything, but you want to make sure you've got veggies that act as fillers and get you micronutrients. So I have some green beans in the freezer. Now, are you hearing what I said? In the freezer. That means I've got some things stocked up that I can plan with and adjust with. I'm not going to go cooked from frozen. I'm going to weigh them before I cook them. So beans, snap, green, frozen, all styles, unprepared. That sounds pretty darn good. I'll say 100 grams. Add that to breakfast. Do you hear what I'm having for breakfast? Green beans and chicken. Okay, let's see. So we've got 9 grams of carbs, 73 fat, 128 grams of protein. So we're doing pretty good. Let's see. Let's make out of lunch, let's make it an omelet. So I'm going to add in some spinach, raw spinach, let's say 100 grams. And I really like peppers and onions. I like to buy them frozen and diced up because my life is just crazy. I get up at 3:30 in the morning. I go to the gym. I commute to work. So I don't have a whole lot of time to be chopping and all that. Let's see, peppers and onions. This is the one I typically use because that's what I buy. And we'll say 50 grams. Notice there's 2.4 grams of carbs, net carbs. People freak out about peppers and onions, but you can use them sparingly. You just don't want to be adding in things like 300 grams of peppers and onions because look at that carb count. But sparingly, you can add it in. That's going to help my omelet flavor for lunch. For dinner, I'm not going to just have a steak. I'm going to have some roasted cauliflower. So I'm going to add cauliflower, raw cauliflower, and let's say 150 grams. 4.4 net carb. Let's see how that makes us look for the day. We're doing good on carbs, doing good on fat. I'm a little high on protein, so I might cut back there a little bit. And with dinner, let's use some spray oil, because I like to spray cauliflower and other veggies and then put some seasoning on it and roast it in the oven. Olive oil spray right there. Let's go with 2 sprays just to be okay. Add serving. So I'm really close on fat, pretty darn close, but I'm high on protein. So let's cut back on protein a little bit. I'm going to adjust this to say 180. Where else do I have a lot of protein? Let's drop this down to about 30. I can adjust that easy when I weigh them out. Look at that. That's beautiful. 125 grams. I would say this is pretty much a perfect day. You always want to hit protein. You can go at or below your carbs. I try to get fairly close to my net carbs because 1, it helps with fullness, but 2, I also want the micronutrients in it because the whole point of this is to be healthy. And fat, boom, 68 out of 76. You want to be no more than 10 below. So there's a day for you guys, okay? 1264. Now remember, I said the calorie total that we wanted was 1244. Don't freak out about that. The reason that that doesn't match up with what's here is because the fiber in things is subtracted from your net carbs. So in the realm of team close enough, that's pretty darn good. So there is pretty much how you plan a day, okay? Maybe I'll do another one of these down the road. Now, if you were going for, say, 130 grams of protein or 110 grams of protein, you could lower these or increase these amounts just a little bit. Easy places to make adjustments are with egg whites, this crumbled bacon. Those are easy places to adjust. Other places to adjust would be the weight of the meat. And I always have raw meat on hand and I just cut off what I need. And so I might have a chicken breast plus a little bit more of it. If, say, that chicken breast that I picked up was 150 grams, I might cut 30 grams off of another one and it's no big deal. I might dice it up. I might add some spices to it. Spices you could put in here as well. But this is the basic right here, guys. It's not that hard. Start with your protein, add in the fats that you're going to cook with, then go back and accent with your veggies and your carbs, and then adjust amounts so that you meet your protein, stay at or below your fat a little bit, and you stay at or below your carbs. Adjust those numbers, make sure you weigh everything. I prefer to weigh in grams because it's just more precise. Remember that the weight is not the same as the protein content. So it's 180 grams of chicken breast by weight on the scale. You need a digital scale, but that yields 40.5 grams of protein. Hope that helps. Bye, guys.